hello, and welcome to another episode of playonultra podcast. This is episode 175.
25 away from 200!
Such
The rate we're going, that's 25 months. Oh, man.
That's a couple years from now.
Yeah, never mind. We're not as close as I thought.
We'll plan something later.
So yeah, it's been about a month since the last time we recorded.
Yep.
Things have happened.
Things have happened, and yet so much has not changed. Not much has changed for me. So I think last we talked, I was like, yep, I'm playing Elder Scrolls Online and I'm playing Final Fantasy 14. LOL, I've just been doing 14 for one reason. My fiance wanted to play with me or whatever. And before, I was just moving up through the story that she had already played through. At some point we'd meet up kind of thing. And she was helping me out with some parts. But then I would, at times go to ESO. But then she made an extra character to join me. And so we're doing all the missions all over again. For her, all over again together. So I'm going at her pace now and just being kind of dragged through it. So I am way farther, almost like done with what they have so far as story content. I'm on like the last latest, not the latest like patch, but the latest expansion on it. It is the best story. That's what everyone was saying, that was the best story, and that's definitely true.
Are you doing like raid content? Or...
No, I'm doing story. MSQ is what they call it. Main story quests. That's all I'm really doing.
Okay, so the main story doesn't... I guess raids are like side content?
Yeah, usually the raids... So some part of the main story, there are some like what they call dungeons and trials and stuff.
The smaller party stuff.
Yeah. And so like you can get up... So there are some story content where it is up to like 8-member parties. But like the 16-member parties or the big stuff, those are like extra raids, and I've done maybe one of them. My brother got into it too, so like I actually had to kick them out before we recorded today because there was the three of us in this room playing, and so I was like, bye guys. But they more like to raid. The only reason I don't mind raiding is because you get like some of the special pretty outfits that way, rarely, but I couldn't care less. I just enjoy
playing
the
with people. Exactly.
Yeah.
The same.
I just like the social aspect. My fiance and I have a real fun time like interacting back and forth with it. Like we get really like it's like a D&D kind of game. We get really into it and stuff, and that's what's fun for me. I have gotten better with the battle system, I will say, and I'm actually pretty proud of myself. I've been doing pretty well at some of the higher level quests and stuff, even though it's pretty. I accidentally chose a slightly difficult class. I chose Black Mage. But now I'm actually doing pretty well, so I'm like, yes, I'm not a loser. But I couldn't care less for the raiding content. I feel like I'll be dragged to do it, and that will be what I get into. But, dude, I'm not into that stressful life of, guys, we all gotta do this. Y'all suck otherwise.
Different raids are definitely different across games. Like, I couldn't get into raiding in Destiny.
Yeah, for sure.
It's very... the skills
Involved?
floor is very high, yeah.
Yeah. I've never tried raid. I haven't done any group stuff in ESO at all, because it's not quite the same, because in FF14, there are, like, some of your main quests do require groups of players. Basically, you'll be put in, like, a roulette, and what's nice about FF14 is they have incentives for higher-level players to do what's called a roulette, where basically they're just kind of randomly put in a trial, a duty, or whatever, and it's lower. It usually is lower level, but what it is to help the like newbie players who maybe there aren't as many like newbie players out there trying this game. It gets them some people to like A, help them out if they're new, but also B, like actually have parties involved. So it's actually kind of cool how they make that work. So it works out pretty well, but I don't know what I don't think I'm high enough level to do the ESO equivalent, but like I have to admit, with the way ESO works, I don't think I'd want to do party stuff, just because the battle system is not like, it's so individualized, you know? There are party stuff. Like, I know my character has, like, party heals and stuff, but, like, I don't want that. I don't know. I don't want that pressure. Like, in 14, it's a little more structured of what your role is and what it's going to do, and it doesn't feel like that in ESO, and I just don't want to deal with that.
WoW is the only game I think where I've really done raiding, and the only way I really do that is because I play a class that has different talent trees with different roles, so I always do the raid first as DPS, because DPS is the easiest, because if you fuck it up, there's like 19 other DPS, like no one's gonna know, like, oh, you're bottom of the damage, whatever. But like if you're the healer and people die, or the tank and people die, people notice.
Yep, yeah, and it's kind of similar with 14, except it's just smaller groups. So like, there's always every like light party always has to have one tank, one healer, 2 DPS. It's very formalized, and every class can only be one of those things. They may have techniques that help them do other things, but you know, if you're playing the black mage, you're DPS, and that's all you should focus on and stuff like that. And yeah, DPS is, it's the easiest one to be. Well, it's the easiest one. It's the least likely to screw up on, because you just need to dodge the attacks and keep hitting.
Yeah, I mean, it's because, I mean, just percentage-wise, you have the less individual impact. Because, like, I think, so raids in WoW are, like, I mean, they implemented a system where they scale kind of fluidly. So, like, I think the smallest raid, I don't know, it's like 20 people, and then caps out, like, at 40 people. And so in that you have
crazy.
2 tanks only, and then, like, I think, like, 6 to 8 healers. And so then you have, like, 30 plus DPS. So, like, if you're the, like, not doing your job, like, people probably aren't going to notice. The only thing that really matters, I guess, is, like, sometimes bosses have mechanics, that require you to move to certain areas. So, like, if you're just, like, way out of position, then you'll be noticed. But, like, if your rotation's bad, people aren't going to, like, really call you out too much.
Yeah, and I'm getting better at my Black Mage rotation, because it's not, for me at first, it was not easy. Because the problem with Black Mage, of course, is it takes time to do your spell, but the minute that, like, you're in an area of attack, you gotta move out of the way, you interrupt the spell, and it's just a mess.
Annoying. That's why I usually play melee DPS, which has its own drawbacks, but yeah, I hate that. I hate having to interrupt my own spells. It's so frustrating.
I've gotten used to it, because the one nice thing is you don't have to be in the way of damage. If everyone's doing their job, you don't get hit as the DPS, so it's
because it's like blocking. That's a really cool system.
Yeah, so like, except for basically the unavoidable damage, which every boss has, they call it the heal checks, like make sure their healers aren't asleep. Yeah. Pretty much I should not, like, I know something's wrong, because I usually, because I think I can get a lot of hate, because Black Mages have the ability to get the most damage, just because it takes longer, right? But that I know something's wrong when all of a sudden the enemies come for me, because it means our tank is dead.
Yeah.
So that's not a good time. Sense. But anyway, I'm having a fun time. It is, the main thing I like about 14, I'm not going to lie, is it's just really pretty. Like, I have a lot of fun just, like, dressing up. Just going through the cute clothes, dyeing them different colors, and the cute little minions and stuff. It's just very pretty and cute. And so I enjoyed that aspect of it. The social stuff is good. But, like, except for the fights, which the dungeon fights are fun now that I know what I'm doing, but just, like, the basic mission-to-missions are still just bad. Like, click here, talk to this person, pick this up. And it just is kind of groan-inducing, because ESO is just way more innovative on the kinds of, like, smaller missions you do. At least for me, they are. And maybe I just haven't reached the Skinner box yet, but for me, they're just way more innovative. So I'm like, 14, it's like, well, at least I'm doing this with somebody, and I can just kind of go through and then get to the actual bosses or whatever, and enjoy the story and the cutscenes, and that's about it. I like the characters, stuff like that, but yikes, I don't know. MMO missions, they need to do something about those, because they are kind of painful. They try to be innovative. It just doesn't, I don't know what it is. I think it's because ESO kind of tried to be Skyrim Online, and so they took some things from that. They took stealth missions, which they have like a couple different type of stealth missions. They have your classic, like, sneak through, hide behind this, and they also have a wear this disguise, but be careful not to get too close to certain enemies. It's just interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting to have, I feel like, at least in WoW, there's very, very few quests, and the quests that do exist are very, like fun quests that require actual player skill. And I mean that in the sense that, like, non like not playing your class skill, like actually like puzzle platforming or like sneaking. Like almost no quests require you to move in a specific way. It's usually like if your gear is good enough, you know how to use your move. Like there's not like most quests aren't hard. Like it's very hard to actually fail a quest in WoW.
Yeah. Same with 14. The only parts that are hard are either like the multiplayer dungeon stuff or what they call like the single player duties. I hate. Basically, they're like instances where it's just you and it's like doing a dungeon by yourself. Those are awful for me at least, just because they're not really made for a black mage.
I see. It's just
they're just harder. Yeah, it's just kind of all on you with like some NPCs. Those suck. But otherwise,
Yeah, there are some challenges like that in WoW. Like 2 expansions ago, there was a thing where it's like for each spec of the class, you could do like a 1-person instance, and if you did it well, you would unlock like a special skin for your weapon. And those were deliberately hard and challenging, but they were still like the kind of hard and challenging of like playing your class well, not so much as like dodging. Or playing like Space Invaders or something.
Trying to be a melee DPS in a place that wasn't meant for. Yeah,
exactly. They were very customized for those specific builds.
But it's cute. I'm enjoying my time for sure. I am enjoying it. It's not super, except for some of those those dungeons. It's not super bad. Eventually I will probably get to an end point, and then I probably won't be at honest. I'll probably still get on just because I do have like a social aspect to it. But I'm hoping to kind of get more into ESO because the only problem with ESO is it's just not clear what you do. But I did recently buy the full package. I just haven't played it yet, so I'm hoping with a more open world, it might be a little clearer to me where to go. Because now I'm like, okay, ESO, I bought your damn game. Tell me what to do now. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's pretty much all that I've been doing. Just my fiance really wants me to try to get through it, and now my brother's involved, and so it's kind of become like our group thing after work. So it's just what we do now. So it's fun.
Are your fiancé and brother really into raiding? Like, what is the late game of this game? Is it raiding?
It's raiding, yeah, for sure. My fiance, so funny story. My fiance actually used to do a podcast about Final Fantasy 14, but they were notorious for making fun of it. If you're in the FF14 community, you may have heard of it actually, but if you're not, you wouldn't know what it is. They haven't done it; they closed it down. But that was kind of where she used to do a lot of it. And so I think she hated the game just because she had to play it so much. Because there was a lot of bad content, fluff content in it, and she had to play everything. But then so she once she didn't have to do that podcast anymore, she put down that game for years. And then kind of accidentally, she basically came back in. It was kind of a sad story. A friend of the communities had passed away and was very well known and beloved. So there was kind of a funeral in FF14. So she bought her account basically, went in, and then was started kind of doing some more stuff and trying things out, and all of a sudden now she's playing more of it. For her, end game is we're trying to get a house right now, which I don't know if I want to get into, but the way they do housing in this game is pretty bad. None of it's instanced because they want this idea of you can walk through a neighborhood and there's people's houses are live and you can walk in if they're unlocked.
Sounds like a cool concept.
Yeah.
It's a cool concept in theory. It really is. Yeah. The problem is, there's no housing available to get. Right now, people are having it up for sale, but the problem is that what they were trying to do to prevent from somebody selling a house, but giving a deal to a friend of theirs to immediately buy the plot, they basically have it that between a minute to 24 hours. The plot may be able to be bought. And you have no idea when. You basically just have to go there, try to buy it, and be told you can buy it or not. So as a result, you'll have 10 people around clicking for hours. That's what my fiance did all yesterday and today. Because there were a couple houses open. She's trying to get one for us. Just hours of clicking and trying to see if you'll be the one to get the house, but also have no idea when it's open. So that's a horrible system. But yeah, it's a bit much. You can through your free companies, there are ways to get your own room and stuff, but as far as a house, it's a terrible system. So that's kind of her endgame content. But yeah, raids is mainly the endgame content. I might do it just because I know my brother's really into the raids. He really wants to that's what he likes to do. He likes to do all the stupid side quests and like do all the group stuff and get all the fancy things. And so that's what he hasn't even gotten through the quest, but he keeps doing those. So yeah, raiding I think is the end game, which is not the case in ESO. That's why some people don't like ESO, because I think there is raiding, but it's not good raiding, I guess, or there just isn't any. That's not what the end game is, which I think is part of the reason why it's just not really taking off as much as other MMOs at this time. But that's okay.
That makes sense.
Yep. So that's what I've been doing. Those are that's it. I don't really have much else to really
Did you watch anything?
Speak upon. Did I watch anything? Did we watch anything? There's an anime that someone suggested to us, and I need to look it up, that we're thinking of watching. But otherwise, did we? No, we really haven't. No, we haven't really done any like new anime. My fiance and my brother watch bad anime whenever I'm busy doing this, so I'm sure I'll hear about it afterwards.
I just started watching Dororo, which is pretty good so far. I'm 7 episodes in. It's basically about it's like the first episode is like this shogun guy who like prays to the gods, like, you can take anything from me as long as you give me power. I'm not really sure what he got out of it, but the point is, his like in the middle of this, his wife's giving birth, and she ends up giving birth to a baby that has like no eyes, no nose, no ears, no skin,
nothing,
like no nothing. The god demons took everything.
Is that two of this, like an old one and a new one? This anime.
I don't know.
I saw clips.
So now like. And so like, that's too bad about that baby. Well, better look next time. Let's go kill it. But the midwife just like puts it in a boat and shoves it into the river as you do. And so then like it gets found by this guy who makes super good prosthetics. So now the baby has like swords for arms, and it just kind of goes around and kills demons. And if it kills like specific other demons, I guess like the demons that Dad was in a pact with, it gets like its body parts back. And then also, this baby person, who's an adult now, is followed by a kid whose name is Dororo. And that's the name of the show. So I don't really know what the kid's deal is yet, but it's good. I'm only 7 episodes in, out of like a 24 episode season. So some animes are weird, where like, I don't know if they're good until like episode 23.
It's quite dark. It has some really dark parts, from the clips I watched.
It's definitely not lighthearted. Like it is a time of war, so there should even not good stuff.
There's even a PlayStation 2 game.
Oh
wow.
Yeah, Blood Will Tell.
I'd heard of it, but maybe is this like there's a newer one that came out?
That's what Char was saying. I must be watching the new one.
Or
no, the show. Because I've heard of it, but I've heard of it as like an older anime.
Okay.
It's a really old manga.
The thing I'm watching is from 2019. The manga is from the 60s.
Oh, God, I feel like I heard it between like 2007
but the game is pretty cool.
to 2015.
You see everything in black and white until you get your eyes back or something.
Yeah. So in the beginning, like the kid just sees, or he's got a longer name. What is his name? I don't remember. Yeah, he just sees like the souls of all living things. It's not really explained how that helps him a lot, because like he'll be like running from like tree branch to tree branch, and it's just like, but then like he like understands when when he gets his hearing back, he understands the language of people speaking to him. So it's a lot of hand wavy stuff about like what he can cope with and what he can't cope with. I don't think about it too hard. That's not the point. But he just looks cool having like blades for arms.
You're watching is it on Netflix?
I am watching it on Amazon Prime.
Oh.
What did I watch before that? I watched a different show, actually from the 60s, live action, called The Prisoner. It's kind of a cult classic, I guess. The main premise is a spy gets kidnapped, and he wakes up in this place just called The Village. And essentially, every episode, they just try to gaslight him into revealing his secrets. Because like everybody in the village like works for like the people trying to extract information from them. Like there are like you don't know who to trust, so everything's all like weird. Like what's real, what's not real, I don't know. It's definitely low budget. It's very much like Star Wars the original series. Like so, if you like that, I think you'd probably like this. Not a lot of closure at the end. Yeah, it's a bit like Star Trek, just low budget, kind of cheesy. It's kind of sci-fi. There's some magic hand wavy technology. It's like, oh yeah, we can take like this film reel and like beam it into his brain to like induce dreams into him, and that way like try to trick him into revealing a secret or that kind of stuff. It's interesting to watch now though, because like as cheesy as it is, the main like theme of the whole show is like don't give in to authority. Like a gilded cage is still a cage. Like always fight, always resist, and I think that's pretty cool, especially like in this current climate, which I found really nice. Yeah. Because the intro
who's leading
like
that fight? Epic Games. That's who's leading that fucking fight. Fuck.
Perfect.
We have our heroes, the people's champions, Epic Games and Team fucking Sweeney.
No.
We'll get back to that. So that's pretty much all that I watched in terms of shows. Oh no! I'm watching The Umbrella Academy. I wasn't watching it before, so I haven't finished season 1 yet.
Is it? How is it? Did you read the comics?
I didn't read the comics at all. It's good. It's interesting. I'm trying to compare it to Doom Patrol. It's better and worse in some ways. Like I think it's a better drama than Doom Patrol. Like if you're really watching it for like superhero stuff, it's not as good as Doom Patrol, but it's a good drama kind of mystery.
I like Doom Patrol because it just really doesn't take itself seriously. And because Doom it does that, all the comic shit makes sense in the world. You get what I mean? Like,
yeah. I don't like. I guess I wouldn't say that Umbrella Academy has a ton of comic shit. Maybe because I'm just so into comic shit. Like, there's definitely some, but it's not a ton. Like, there's not really like a supervillain or anything. It just kind of basically, they know the world is going to end in 8 days, and they need to figure out how, and then figure out how to stop it. And then there's stuff just all throughout that. So I'd recommend it. It's good. In terms of movies, just last night I watched, what's it called? Is it called Power? It's a new movie with Jamie Foxx and Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Ooh.
Let's go IMDb.
I had a high school crush on Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
He is a good-looking man. I mean, they both are. Mm-hmm. It is called...
Project Power?
Oh, whoa! Sorry, just a second. Yes, that one. Jamie Foxx IMDb page, he's apparently announced to be in a new Spawn movie. That's awesome.
Really?
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Project Power. The premise of Project Power is this new drug is flooding the streets of New Orleans, and people can take this pill, and it gives them a superpower for 5 minutes. You don't know what the power is before you take the pill, but the power is unique to the individual. So if you take a second pill, it'll be the same power it was before. Some people just straight up die because they explode or whatever. Or like, I can freeze ice, and then they just freeze and die. So it's a big risk. So you follow Jamie Foxx and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who are trying to, stop the pill. They're actually kind of two separate people, and they kind of meet at the very end. So they're trying to do their own thing. It's actually pretty good. If I had to compare it to another movie, did you guys see Bright? That movie with Will Smith as a cop with the orc partner?
No.
No, I heard of it, but I never watched it.
It was kind of like that in terms of quality. Like, it was good, it was interesting, it wasn't great. It's a little generic, a little
I had
meh.
The problem with that one
what?
is like the writing and stuff. It's not really like not the production quality. Production quality is good.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think it's about the same. I think the acting and the dialogue writing was very good in Project Power. I just think the plot was pretty safe and generic and predictable. Like a little Deus Ex Machina, like, oh man, what's Jamie Foxx's power? I don't know. Is it gonna inexplicably save the day in the last minute? You betcha!
He's got power save the planet.
Like, no, I can't take the pill. I killed so many people last time. It's like, okay, Jamie Foxx, you just hold on to that pill until we need it later.
They should get that guy. The Hotel Rwanda guy, the one that played War Machine in the Marvel movies.
Don Cheadle.
Yeah, just turn him into like Captain Planet.
He was Captain Planet.
He was. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, if you take a pill, I got it. That'd be good. There was somebody in Project Power who I think is like a famous YouTube piece of shit. Let me try and find his name. I don't remember his character name. I think he's like one of those like people who like does a daily dose of drama kind of thing.
Oh, God.
There it is, Casey Neistat.
Oh, okay. So he doesn't do drama, but he does that daily vlog, high energy. I feel like punching him in the face, and then people come to me. Oh, I'm so inspired by what's his name, and I'm like, what are you inspired by? His daily vlogs.
So is he a piece of shit, or is he just a regular YouTuber?
Not that I know.
Like, did he do something bad? Okay,
I don't think he is a sexual predator piece of shit.
I just assumed because of his face and job that he was a piece of shit.
I mean, percentage-wise, you might.
I mean, if you do YouTube like the three of us, the chances of you being a piece of shit is pretty high.
Yeah.
You gotta be at least somewhat a narcissist to want to do it, right?
Look left, look right. If you're not a piece of shit, you're fine.
Yeah.
One out of three. I think one of us in this call right now.
We could all be 1/3 a piece of shit.
Yeah, I like that. Or maybe we each share a day. Each of us has a really bad day.
Yeah. So I think that's everything that I watched. In terms of what I played, I took an unplanned break from recording Outer Wilds. I'm just not getting that into it. Like, it's...
Oh, really?
I should like it. So the main, like, hook of the game is it's a Groundhog Day scenario. So, like, whenever, basically, you wake up and you have some amount of time, I think it's like 10 or 15 minutes, like real time, until the sun explodes and kills everything. So you basically just have that amount of time to fly somewhere in the solar system and get a piece of information. But, like, then the universe completely resets. So it's not super, like... It's hard for me to get that fulfilling sense of progress, because, like, anything I do gets reset. Like, I can't, like, open a door and get a shortcut. Like, I can learn a thing and kind of get a shortcut that way, sort of, but there's not a lot of that. I'd say basically none of that. And I don't like the actual mechanics of moving around in the game, which is really frustrating when I feel like I have a time crunch. To be fair, they're not that bad. I just don't like them, and the time crunch makes it annoying. I mean, you don't see the timer, but it is a real-time timer.
Oh. Damn.
Before the sun blows up. It's not anything you do. It's just you've been alive for
roughly half.
It's between 10 and 15 minutes, I think.
Oh.
Maybe closer to 15. Basically, it's enough time to go to one planet and explore a piece of that planet. And you have to try and track like where you've been. And it's really hard because a lot of the planets are constantly changing over time. Like, one planet has a black hole in the center, so bits of it are constantly falling in real time. So if you get to that planet later, bits of it have fallen and you will not get to see them. Another planet is, like, slowly filling with sand. So if you get to it too late or too slow, you can't get to the bottom doorways because they're now full of sand. And, like, it's these really cool ideas. I just find them very stressful and not, like, fun and relaxing.
Content gating in a way.
Yeah.
It's stressful, but it's really cool. Like, oh my god, imagine if you don't get to this planet, it's different now. Like,
yeah, like if there was a way for me to unlock things, or
just replay it thousands of times, I guess.
I'm just not. I don't have the patience or high repetition, and I feel like when I'm recording, my patience is even lower.
Don't you have like a journal that doesn't get reset?
You do have a journal. Yes, that's the only thing that doesn't reset is this journal, which I have not done a good job of looking at. So maybe it does some really cool stuff that solves much of my problems. But the little bit I've looked at it didn't seem to do that.
It must be difficult to record.
So far, I haven't edited anything. I've been like, okay, I'm just gonna like go to this planet and do this thing. So if I ever have a thing where it's like, okay, I missed one little piece on this planet, and it's gonna take me essentially a whole run to get there, like I'll just do it later. And I haven't done any of that yet because it's like it just feels like a chore. And if you fuck up, you're like, okay, well there's 12 minutes or 15 minutes gone. Like you just got to reset and like get back there. So yeah, it's I will finish it. Hopefully, probably. I intend to finish it at this time. We'll see. I don't know. What I've been doing instead is I have been playing Risk of Rain 2 because it came out of early access, so I picked that up.
Nice.
It's interesting.
How do you like the 3D? The 2D to 3D?
I like it. So I like the 2D to 3D, but I almost kind of wish it was more different. Because other than that, it's almost exactly the same as Risk of Rain 1. Like, all the enemies, all the items are, like, the same, pretty much. So, and the classes are pretty similar. I just wish there were more differences. I
should play together.
I picked it up... Yeah, that'd be fun. I picked it up, like, a week before it came out of early access. And so, like, right when it came out of early access, they added the actual end, like an actual final boss. Like, previously, you would just do levels until you died or could like suicide. But now they added like an alternate out, and that final level rather is insanely bad. Like, I don't know how they thought this was fun. Basically, you spawn into a room and there's like a really long, like 3 really long walkways that take you literally 5 minutes to run through, and there's some enemies along them, but you can just ignore them and keep running. And then you get to a boss, and you fight the boss who has 3 or 4 stages, and they're okay. But it's really easy for the boss to one-shot you, which is not fun. And then once you beat the boss, you have, I think, like a 3-minute timer to run back through those same walkways you just walked through. And it's just exceedingly tedious. And if you fall off the edge of the walkways, you'll probably spawn really far away on this kind of random platform that you can't get back from unless you've happened to have acquired, like, items that give you extra jumps or flight or anything. If you only have, like, damage items, you'll just be stuck there. I think they patched it so there's, like, smaller hops to get out of there, but, like, even if they fixed, like, this soft lock risk, it's still just boring. It's still just really dumb. So I almost never do the final boss. I almost always just play until I die, or basically every 8 levels, you have the option of suiciding, which counts as, like, a win.
Interesting.
So it's still good. I'd recommend it. If you like Risk of Rain 1, if you didn't like Risk of Rain 1, this will not be any different, and you will not like it either. So, yeah. I think that's it. I think that's all I did. I played a little bit of Vermintide 2, not a lot. Yeah, that's it.
Didn't they announce a new one? Like a 40k Vermintide or something?
Essentially a 40... Yeah, the company Fat Shark announced what's basically 40k Vermintide. There's some interesting things about that, because it looks like you, the player, will be playing as members of the Imperial Guard, who are not Space Marines. So I think that's going to do an interesting thing at... I mean, I don't know the game yet. It's not out yet. We don't know anything, really. But... theoretically, that could, like, limit a lot of the iconic character types you might want to play as. Maybe it won't. Maybe they'll have a way around it.
Inquisitors and Space Marines?
You're basically Inquisitor henchmen. So you wouldn't... You're like regular humans. Like, you're not roided out Space Marines. You're not, like, cyborg Adeptus Mechanicus. You're not Eldari, like... killer clowns, so I don't really know what they're gonna do. It looks like it'll be cool. They said there will be more of an emphasis on shooting, which makes sense, but they're also like, we're very proud of the melee system we came up with in Vermintide, so we're gonna make sure that that's still a thing. So it'll be interesting to see how that gets balanced. I'm looking forward to it. I picked up the DLC for Vermintide 2, and it's some pretty hot garbage.
Oh,
it's $20 DLC. Ooh, wow. And it adds a new game mode where basically it drops you into like these kind of like RNG generated levels, and you just have to start killing enemies to fill up this bar. And the game I think it gets harder the longer the slower you take or something like that. And if you fill the bar up, you go to fight a boss, and if you beat the boss, you get a bunch of points. And these points can be used to upgrade a completely brand new like progression tree, which only applies to this game mode. And guess what? They're gonna make it seasonal, so it resets every season. So all the grinding you do just gets blown away.
That's what I like. My progress just being fucking blown away.
Yeah,
Yay.
I was actually enjoying the DLC until I learned it was temporary, and then I haven't played it since. I just haven't even played the game. Not even the regular content. It's like, okay, I'm just kind of done. I'll play Risk of Rain 2 instead.
Actually, I've been thinking of getting back into Dying Light. Not in preparation for Dying Light 2, but because there's a new DLC.
We never did the buggy DLC, like the countryside one. At least I didn't.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I never finished that one, even solo. I didn't finish it. Like I was like
the single player.
Yeah, I like because the main game was like running across rooftops and shit, and then I have to drive around. That's not what I want from this.
Oh, that part, right? Yeah, I never finished that either. It was. I need to worry about like fuel and like repairing your thing, like. Yeah,
I just want to.
It's very
run around. Feel like I'm first person Spider-Man and smashing his zombies in the head. That's like.
I already felt kind of weird. I already felt kind of weird in the core game because, like, in the beginning, it's very tactical. When you have like crappy weapons, you're like, oh, okay, like, and you have poor core skills, like you don't have like triple jump or whatever the abilities are. So you're like, I have to like plan your routes, and then at the end of the game, you're just like running and like never stopping and like using grappling hooks. And I was never sure how I felt about that progression because like it felt good to be that powerful, but also removed like some kind of fun elements of the game too.
But in the end of the game, at the start it was like a survival horror zombie game, and at the end it was an action RPG. that's
a good way to put it.
I think I'm okay with that.
More. I'd be down. I don't have a huge problem with it. It's an interesting choice.
But yeah, they have a new DLC called Hell Raid, and you
that's pretty much just looking at content
like arena stuff. Yeah, you do arena stuff. I think.
Oh, weird.
You're in hell. You're stuck in hell. You get weapons.
What?
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much.
There it is. $10. Hell Raid.
So, but it's mostly negative, so I wasn't expecting that.
Oh wow, that's very negative. I bet it's probably just trying to rip off like Killing Floor.
From what it says, people said that there wasn't enough content to warrant the price.
Yeah, that's the worst with the Vermintide DLC.
It's more of the same as just for reskins. That's pretty much it. A hentai game has more replayability, apparently.
Ha.
So yeah.
Dying Light 2 has a listing here on Steam.
What 2?
Dying Light 2.
Yeah.
Does it have a date yet? No. Anyway, that's me. What did you do, Shar? What did you watch? What did you play? What did you eat?
What'd you eat?
I ate kimchi fried rice for my breakfast this morning.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Ooh, I've never had that before.
Oh, I just made it myself. Not the kimchi. I don't have the fridge space to make my own kimchi, but you know, it's just not fermented, like pickled vegetables, right?
Right, yeah.
But
you just had it with fried rice.
I'm sure you guys have like an Asian mart or a Korean mart.
Yeah.
Korean stuff is so well sought out here that we don't even have to go to a Korean mart to get the more like well-known stuff like kimchi and like the alcohol like soju and stuff. But you got to go to a Korean mart for like some specialty stuff and like the more expensive whatever. But yeah, just get some kimchi, fry some onions and garlic. Put your day-old rice, and
I know I never make it day-old, but it's supposed to be
day-old. Put it in the fridge.
Yeah, I do it fresh.
I know.
Put some kimchi.
I always forget to make it the day before. That's why.
Buy some Korean chili paste. I can't remember what it's called, but
oh yeah.
And the reason, so this one was really good. I'm just tooting my own horn, but it's because I had like I froze some. So a lot of Asian cooking requires you to blend onions and garlic and a couple of other like herbs. You blend it up, put some oil in, and then you fry it, and that is what makes like really good curries, really good fried rice and shit. So I had that like sitting in the freezer for like a month ago. I just put that in, and it's just oh god. So yes, anyways, that's what I ate.
Nice.
I watched Doom Patrol 2, and it wasn't as good as the first one.
Oh no, I haven't watched season 2 at all yet.
Season 1 had 15 episodes, and season 2 only have 9. It's got 9. I'm guessing COVID is my guess. I'm not sure when production ended though, when filming ended.
I feel like it probably ended. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I feel like it probably ended a long time ago.
Felt rushed. Like seriously, it just felt rushed.
It could be.
So it
I
could
wonder
be COVID,
if maybe they
not,
rushed it to try and beat The Boys season 2 out.
Maybe
they didn't want to compete with that because The Boys is better, I think.
Really, I would say both has its. Like I really, I think season 1 was like
different.
They pulled out all the stops in season 1. I think it's very difficult to top that kind of villain.
Alan Tudyk's just the best, man.
Yeah. The combination of Alan Tudyk and a fourth wall breaking villain, like that's. I don't think you can top that.
Yeah.
But wait, so did anybody watch?
I did watch the first couple episodes of season 2 because it has like the clock-headed guy.
Yes, that one. Sarah, do you watch Doom Patrol?
No, I haven't.
I think you'll like it. You have DC, right? DC Universe.
Yeah, we used to, but yeah, I know I can get it. Yeah.
I think you'll like it. It's kind of gory a little bit, but
okay.
It's really funny.
Is it animated?
Oh,
it's
no,
animated, right?
Real life.
No, it's live action.
Live action, yeah.
Okay.
It's got
Brendan Fraser plays Robot Man.
Oh my gosh, that's pretty great.
And who's the chief? Timothy Dalton.
And Ellen Tudyk as a villain is like really, really, really good. Fourth wall breaking, so it's just really good. The first season is definitely like it set the bar so high that I don't think any other season will be able to top it. And season 2 has the girl that they saved, and oh my god, she's so annoying.
She's pretty.
The daughter, yeah. I don't like kids.
How do you compare Doom Patrol and Preacher?
Ooh.
I feel like both appeal to me on the same way. Really?
Yeah. Which is insane.
I guess.
But Preacher has a more grounded feel, even though it has all the stupid Jesus shit.
I guess that's true, because Doom Patrol has a literal scene where like there's a stampede of like butts with legs, and the butts are also mouths.
Yeah. They eat flesh. Butt eating flesh. Wait, flesh eating butts.
That scene was so funny though.
I don't like any of those words together.
It's really funny. It's really. Who did Preacher again?
Who makes the comic?
Yeah.
I believe it's Dark Horse.
No, as in the writer, the creator.
It's someone very famous.
Yeah, that's why I was asking.
I'm googling it now. Oh, it's Vertigo. So technically, it's a kind of like a DC offshoot. Garth Ennis. That's the name I'm trying to think of.
Garth
Ennis.
I would say ridiculousness probably about the same, maybe, but it's a very different style of ridiculousness. Doom Patrol feels more comic-y. I don't know, like.
Absolutely.
So Doom Patrol feels more comic-y, but Preacher feels a bit more grounded, darker, and it has a bit of
it's a little more satirical.
Yeah, that's what
Whereas Preacher's like literally like irreverent. Interestingly, Garth Ennis also did The Boys. And Judge Dredd.
He makes good stuff.
And Hellblazer and Punisher.
Doom Patrol 2. I wish it was better. I wish it was longer.
Finish it more.
It's only
later.
9 episodes. I've played.
I also finished season 2 of Avatar. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, what have you played?
I finished Beyond Two Souls.
Did you?
And it was interesting.
Yeah? Was it?
His best game is still Detroit Become Human, I would say.
That's fair.
And first half of Fahrenheit Indigo Prophecy, the first half of it.
Yes. Yeah.
But Beyond Two Souls has, I think, very interesting gameplay mechanics, interesting enough.
Well, here's what I'll tell you. If you love those gameplay mechanics, then you need to play, and I can't believe... Hold on. I need to make sure I'm going to give you the right name. Otherwise, I'm going to feel very embarrassed. Yeah, okay. If you like those mechanics, I can give you a DS game that did it better.
Ghost Trick?
Ever heard of Ghost Trick?
That shit is expensive. I've been trying to get a copy for so long, but everybody knows its value, and it's so expensive.
I know,
like,
but it did it
better. I can emulate it, but still.
Yeah.
No, but what I really like is the combat, though. Like the
combat?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
So I stealth.
Really?
Yeah, I stealth as what? Ellie? What's the name? Like, is Ellie her name from The Last of Us 2?
It's Ellen Page.
It might actually be Ellie. Actually,
whatever. Ellen Page. Yeah.
Ellen Page.
I like the combat, like, because I have the human character that can shoot and like be stealthy, but also the ghost character that can like take out enemies. I just thought it was interesting.
Stand.
And it was better than I thought it would be.
Okay, that's fair. I think at this point it was probably down so much that I think there's a point to be said.
It did have
for that.
the problematic parts where it comes to the First Nation indigenous people part.
Yeah.
That wasn't my favorite. I mean, I'm always interested to learning about their culture and shit, but I don't want to learn it from a white French guy. Like, that's... I don't know, it just feels wrong to me.
That stuff is
and
bad.
Also,
the way
I'm playing a white girl, has a white savior feel to it. I'm not down with that.
I get it, yeah. And the way they even before that, like, some of the weird sexism gets kind of... I don't know how to describe it. It's just uncomfortable, some of the stuff that you can
the relationship stuff, the relationship stuff was not fun.
Yeah. I didn't really play it all the way through. I just...
Yeah.
I didn't really play it all the way through. I just had heard about it. Honestly, the gameplay mechanics of just the ghost in her really bothered me because, like I said, Ghost Trick just did it better, and it wasn't on a 3D plane. Like, because the stuff with her ghost buddy, it just seemed very limited, which is too bad. It is a David
Cage narrative game, so...
Yes, it is. And so that's what I think was too bad, because when I first heard about it, I was actually kind of intrigued. So I was like, oh, because I had played Ghost Trick. And I was like, okay, well, this could have some cool concepts because it's 3D environment. And then, like, I kind of saw what came out, and I was like, But, as we all said, he wanted to be a movie director, not a video game designer. So
about 20% into the game, I knew exactly who the ghost was.
Oh, really? That's funny.
I guessed it, and at the end, I guessed it right. I was like, yeah.
That's funny.
You're very predictable, David Cage.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's also... I feel like there's a hint because of his name, too, because I feel like there's also a hint.
It was definitely kind of hinted at, but, like, I think David Cage wanted it to be more mysterious than that.
Oh, of course he did. Of course he did.
And it wasn't... And he has this problem, I think, with a couple of his games. It at the end of it scales way too big. Like Beyond Two Souls become like this whole like worldwide military thing, and I'm like, it would have been better if it was a more like grounded experience, like a more like smaller experience. But it's always with him. It's always like big ending.
It has to be, which is
gotta go to space.
Yeah, which is actually why, in some ways, because did you ever play Origami Killer?
Heavy Rain.
Heavy Rain. Did you ever play that?
I played all of his game except for Omicron.
Okay.
I played Omicron. Didn't finish it.
Oh, okay.
I never played Omicron.
It's basically unplayable.
I've never. Wait, was that before? Was that before Fahrenheit?
Yeah.
It has David Bowie in it.
How did he get David Bowie in there?
I don't know.
I didn't even know about this game. I gotta look it up.
Omicron, the Nomad Soul.
Were they just like both high and David Bowie like, whoa, you're a genius, man? Like,
yeah, right. Because one thing I was just gonna say about Heavy Rain is like that one. What's nice about it is it's more self-contained.
That's true.
It is just about this murderer and stuff like that, and there is a legit twist that's interesting. And you, even though it's very silly in the beginning, you could have characters that die not knowing the answer and stuff. And so like that's why to me that's always been one of his better ones. Although I didn't do Detroit Become Human. I hear that was the best one, which I can understand.
I would say each different games have its own problems, but Heavy Rain, I wouldn't fault you for choosing Heavy Rain as his best game.
Yeah, it's just I think because it had more of his interesting ideas that's kind of worked, but it had all of his problems.
I think it had focus too. It was.
I think Detroit has the best writing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Detroit definitely has the best writing.
Yeah, I do need to play it. I just have been burned too many times, and I've ranted about him for so long that like when people start liking it, I was like, no.
Fun to play. That's the thing about him.
Yeah, they're always
we
intense.
always shit on him,
I know.
but his games are actually kind of fun to play. Like,
the reason I shit on him is because he makes the kind of games that I should love, that I should adore, that should be my favorite, but they always mess things up, and it pisses me off, and so that's why.
And him as a person also has some problems.
Yes, and so that's why
I mean,
it's
the
just really
studio
hard
too, the way he treats his employees.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know if you heard about how he like approached Ellen Page about the role.
And also like
the nudes. The nude
there was the nudes issue too.
The nude model thing, but also
the new model.
Like how they treat like the female employees in this office or something.
Yeah.
I think he's the one that had like some kind of
surprised.
email circulating about who you should fuck or something. I can't remember.
Oh my
I would not be surprised. I mean,
and I won't be surprised if what I said is for multiple studios and not just one.
Sure.
I know. I mean, you gotta be more specific, man.
It's for true for Riot Games. Like, there's no way that's not true at multiple levels in Riot Games.
Yeah.
How have they been kept under the radar after that huge thing, by the way? Like, we haven't heard a peep from them.
That's
it's like,
what happened.
Did you guys actually
I think the Riot news
Unionize.
came at the right time for them, because right now we are trying not to forget, but Riot came just slightly before.
Yeah.
I think it was like 2017, 2018, something.
Yeah, I think you're right. If all this stuff had happened now, it would have been a different story.
We're still talking about Ubisoft. Nobody's trying to
cancel Riot.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Even though with
the Assassin's Creed, what's the new game that's coming out? Valhalla. The director just got fired because of the sexual allegations. And
all right.
Sweet.
I mean, they did something at least.
He was he basically lied to quite a few female employees about his relationship status as a husband to somebody, and gotten into like affairs with a lot of people. And because he's like director, big boss guy, there's also the power dynamic, blah blah blah.
Yep. Yeah. It's just you don't do that.
Yeah. So he was put on leave, and then now he's let go.
Wow. Okay. They actually let him go.
Yeah.
All right. Good for them. There are plenty.
You're
of
1 out of 50.
non-problematic.
Good for you, Ubisoft, shooting 1 out of 50.
You.
So yeah.
But yeah, fun stuff. Well, I'm glad, that was enjoyable. Yeah, I do need to play Detroit Become Human, because I probably actually will really like it. It's just, like I said, I've always wanted to like his games, and there's always something super problematic about it, and it drives me nuts. Also, he has the weirdest tropes. Almost every game of his has a magical homeless man. It's very weird.
The problem with Heavy Rain, like socially problematic, like not.
The way the stuff with the way he treats the female protagonist is really icky. Your first scene with her is her in her underwear, and you find out it's a dream sequence, but she's dreaming of men basically breaking in and attempting to rape her. And she ends up having sex with a guy who broke up with his wife, and it's really weird. And the way it's managed is really funky. You're like, why are you
I totally forgot about that.
together? It's stuff like that. I feel like there's something else. I mean, I only know for the feminist viewpoint, that was the problem with me. They also attempted to have somebody who had like a drug addiction, and I think that was a little bit weird too. With how that kind of worked out, he can actually like die from like the stuff if you're not careful. It just weird stuff like that. And again, every single one of his games has like a magic wise homeless man. I don't know why. Why?
In Beyond Two Souls, you literally become homeless at one point. So
yeah. And like, there's homeless people that help you out.
Yeah.
In Fahrenheit, it's a magic homeless society that like tells you about everything. In Heavy Rain, I forget what it is, but you basically meet someone who's like a wise homeless man, and we're like, what? And so that's what happened. And I feel like I asked someone. I think Detroit Become Human. I don't think it's a big thing, but it's another like random trope of his that just keeps showing up. It's very strange. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff around with this game.
Like yes.
Yeah.
He has a like pull out of a hat kind of thing. Like, oh, magic homeless man again.
I guess I don't like. It's so weird. Like it's like it has to be purposeful, but why? It's very strange. But yeah, that was what was wrong with Heavy Rain. And the main issue that people had with it was there were a lot of like stupid control things for like opening a door that was not necessary. And of course the classic
and brushing
like
the teeth and shit.
you can and of course the classic like you can just put your controller down for like a bunch of quick time sequences
with
and
his
it
games
doesn't
not accessible at all.
Yeah, exactly. Well, just it doesn't.
I don't want to be doing this on my couch. Like I don't want to be shaking the controller up and down. Like,
so yeah, there's that issue. I just even mean like you guys remember the funny video where like the guy doesn't do anything for a whole sequence and he still
the chase
wins.
Sequence.
Yeah, it's stuff. So that was also a huge, thing about it.
Thinnest veneer of an illusion of player agency.
Yeah. I mean, that's always going to happen. We're always going to have our Skinner boxes, so we call it, meaning like, we play it for fun, even if it doesn't really mean that much of anything. But that one, the video cracks me up. Like, it's just so obvious. Like, there's no, didn't even, like, I feel, what game I felt like did that right? Actually, I will go on this soapbox. Until Dawn, I will insist on my dying breath is the game that David Cage wants to make.
You know what? With Until Dawn, I played it. I finished it. Like one run. I usually don't really play like multiple runs, even for this kind of games.
Fair enough.
Mechanically, it's better.
Yeah.
But I'm not into the summer, not summer, like the teen horror slasher.
That's fair.
That's the thing that I wasn't pulled into. But David Cage tend to have like interesting like themes and stories that start to break down around the middle. That's what his that's his thing.
I know. If we could have some of David Cage's like a little bit of his crazy ideas with some tapered downness. And like the way that Heavy Rain the way they did their choice mechanics, the way they did their multiple endings, the way they did their quick time events was really good. And that's why I kind of joke, I'm like, this is the game that he wanted to make and just didn't make. But yeah, and the characters can be really annoying. Unfortunately, that company tried to make another game recently. I guess they're making like a 5-part like chapter game, and so they released the first part. It's bad. It's pretty bad. What's it called? Man of Menon or something? Just look up a YouTube video of... Yeah. It was bad. This was a while ago. I'm not even sure if they ever got Chapter 2 out, but they had some cool, unique ideas, especially if you do 2-player.
Is that the one where you use your smartphone or something?
I'm sorry?
Is that the one where you use, like, other players use their smartphone?
No, that was a different game that was made before that. I don't know how good it was because it kind of came out and no one talked about it. So that was a game that came out, but I don't know how well it was done because no one talked about it. But this was their newer like actual game, and it had a lot of interesting concepts, but the story and the way they did it was not good.
Is that one where another player can like actively sabotage the other player or something, right?
Kind of, yeah. Although you're not really sabotaging them. It's just more of like you guys could make different decisions, and technically you also could be in different points of view, which is what part of what's interesting. So what's interesting is like it only really matters in the beginning, but like basically because your two characters are separated, they could like misunderstand each other essentially. So like you're not necessarily screwing each other over so much as you're like, what are they doing? And the other person's like, ah. So, it has some interesting concepts and stuff like that and horror elements, but it was really predictable and it just was, and the ending was not satisfying at all. It wasn't good. It was not strong at all. I'm hoping their other games are stronger. But anyway, I'll get off this soapbox.
But yeah, if you like David Cage games, Beyond Two Souls is another like pretty solid one. It's not the best. Problematic stuff as usual with David Cage. If you know David Cage and if you like his games, you know that there will be problematic stuff. But it's pretty like it goes on deep sales. I think I got this one for like 80% off or something. So that's why I bought it.
Yeah, I bet it's because it wasn't actually that popular. Heavy Rain did pretty well, but Beyond Two Souls I think was so I'm not too surprised.
Another one I played was Ghost of Tsushima. I finished that.
Did you? My brother's trying to play it. He loves it so far though. He's playing it right now.
I would say that it's technically one of the best open world games I've ever played.
Nice.
I wish that it wasn't based in reality though. Like I wish it was like fantasy, like because
fantasy, yeah.
to me, a very realistic world is not a very interesting world to get sucked in.
Sure.
And the story is all about honor. Like they say that fucking word so many fucking times. Jesus, honor this, honor that. Holy hell!
All right, Zuko.
It sounds like a white person writing what they think a Japanese person was like.
Is it a white writer?
That's what I was.
Who's the writer?
It was a white.
Sucker Punch. Made by Sucker Punch, American company. They made like the Infamous games and Sly Cooper.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was made by American company. I guess apparently they did hire. I think
they did hire
a
like Japanese American for for the main guy. A few Asian Americans for most of the roles. The villain though, the Mongolian is a white guy. So I'm not like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I mean, production values, everything was amazing. The game is really good, and I love.
Yeah.
The combat is really satisfying too. It feels.
That's what I heard.
It does. It just feels so good when you pull things off, like the parries and like changing up the different styles to fight different enemies. Like you have shield enemies, your sword enemies, your spear enemies, and different. The way you hold the sword, different styles that you can switch on the fly, helps. So it has. It's a very cool like grounded Devil May Cry combo almost. It feels like it just. Combat wise, it's like one of the best I've ever played. It's so satisfying and it's so good. And they made, because Devil May Cry combos is not realistic at all, but they were able to like make it feel like you're playing a very grounded, realistic Devil May Cry style with all the switching up and the different like. It's just so good.
Cool.
Other mechanics like there's no waypoints. Instead, the wind blows towards where you're supposed to go. Now that is also very cool, and it's not just like they don't just draw like the wavy winds. You can actually see shit flying, and if you're standing next to a bonfire, the bonfire will blow towards that direction. And I just thought it was such a cool little detail. Like it was so cool. Stealth is really fun in that game, and I love that. There's also like because basically you're brought up as a samurai. As a samurai, you're supposed to be honorable, and the honorable thing is to fight your enemy head on. Like, you announce yourself, you announce to the enemy that you're there, I'm gonna fight you. But you also have to fight stealth because the Mongolian army is really strong, really powerful, and they don't play fair. So you have to do stealth. So you become the ghost. And that goes against, like, the honor code of the samurai. So you have, like, internal conflict in terms of that, but also you have external conflict from, like, the uncle that raised you as a samurai, that kind of thing. So the stealth parts is really good, but you also have the honorable way of like announcing that you're there. So sometimes when the stealth is failing, like you're gonna get seen, I just press the button like, I'm here, motherfuckers. Like, you didn't see me, I'm here. But the best part is I will like stand up from like a bush and think, I'm here, like come on. It's just really funny. But yeah, I just like that. That becomes a really good like emergency button because you get to kill off. Depending on what armor you wear, you get to kill off up to like 5 different enemies at once. I think you have to time it right, but you can kill like 5 off straight away. So that's really helpful. I really like all the cosmetics. You have a lot of different type of armor, and each armor has its own like different like special thing about it, and it forces you to change instead of just wearing one armor. So that's also another thing. Like mechanically, it's one of the best games I've ever played. Like there's just nothing else to say about it. It's just I wish it was not like a realistic take on it.
Take that engine and make up a setting.
So like they actually just announced, I think like last week, there's going to be a free update, a multiplayer update. It comes with a multiplayer game mode. So there's 2 things you can do. You can play co-op in a special story, a multiplayer story, but you can also play like survival missions, like I'm guessing like waves or enemies and stuff. And you don't play the main character. You play as different classes. You have 4 classes. And what I think it is they're taking all the different skill trees from the main character and breaking it up into 4 different classes is my guess. Yeah, so because you have your samurai, you have your assassin, which is what the main character can do. The main character can just do all of it. I also like that the main character is not some like good-looking hunk. He's just a middle-aged, attractive man, but a middle-aged like not your Japanese 17-year-old holding a Buster Sword kind of guy, but like
Yeah.
For sure.
It's just a really good game. Your horse cannot die, so like.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And
just runs away when.
And it's just so like there's so many like quality of life things that they did with this, and it's honestly is so good. Like if you have a PlayStation 4 and if you're like pretty okay with like action game and the controls, it's definitely a game you should play. And yeah, so it's definitely a game that I think a lot of weeboos would love because it's like you get to like be the samurai, the hero, and like you get called Lord a lot because as a samurai you're like a higher position in life socially and stuff. Like Lord Sakai. I think the weeboos will get a kick out of that. But yeah, it's a really good game. I would say it's definitely a contender for like the game of the year for this year for sure. Like definitely so good. And after that, I played. I wanted like a short experience, so I played Uncharted Lost Legacy. It's the one where you play the two female characters instead of Nathan Drake. It's more Uncharted. It's cool set pieces, beautiful graphics, lovely environments, very good dialogue, very good voice acting, very fun action sequences. Only problem I have is the black woman and the Indian woman are played by two white women. So yeah, that's what's his face.
Yeah.
But other than that, I've also been playing Final Fantasy VII Remake. That's like my next big one.
Have you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm thinking about 9 hours in. I'm in chapter 8.
Not a fan?
I like okay, so the combat is weird.
It's different, yeah.
It's one of the reasons why I didn't finish Final Fantasy 15. The combat.
Oh, okay. It's because I think it's similar, isn't it? I never.
It's better, but it's similar. It's very much. Let's take the worst thing about turn-based and let's take the worst thing about action and combine them both because that would make a worse product.
It looked fun, but I don't know.
It's just weird because an action game is about the player's skill.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have that. It doesn't have it. It's closer to a Dragon Age Inquisition combat.
Gotcha.
You've played that, right?
I actually haven't played it all the way through.
It has a bit of a... makes you feel like you have to press the attack button to actually attack. So it makes you feel like you're a bit involved, but there's also like a tactical pause where you can give commands to your different...
Right. Your teammates and stuff.
I prefer a fully fleshed out turn-based or a fully fleshed out action and not this weird mashup of both. Like, I didn't really enjoy the Dragon Age Inquisition as well. Like, it's
Got it. Okay, that's fair.
But Inquisition was a little bit more towards the turn-based because I think attack is like automatic. You have your AoE spells and all that, but I just much prefer that whole turn-based because they have a really well fleshed out turn-based system. There's just all this min-maxing that you can do and you can pull out these crazy combos. And a really well fleshed out action system makes you feel really satisfied if you like can pull off combos yourself, like Devil May Cry or whatever. But it's just none of the two. Like, it's just a weird mashup. I don't know why. I mean, I know why. They want to make it more cinematic and shit, but I want control, and I don't have it.
Yeah, right.
I just...
Gotcha.
But, oh, and the voice acting is shit. I don't understand. Oh my god, it's bad. It's not like, it's not Final Fantasy X bad. It's...
Yeah, that's
it's, I have this dialogue, but I'm talking to a wall bad. I'm not talking to a person bad.
Yeah, I didn't have much trouble with the voice acting.
I don't know. I just do not like it at all. Especially coming after Uncharted, where the voice...
Oh, that's fair.
Because in that game, when two people talk, two people are talking. Like,
right.
It's literally two people talking. Like there's a flow to the conversation and the dialogue, and it's so good. It's like a movie. And Final Fantasy VII Remake sounds like somebody is recording their dialogue separately and then they're just smashing it up. And
I'm wondering if that's like a Final Fantasy issue, because I'm thinking of 14 and it has.
I wonder if they were
issues
told what
that.
roles it was.
I think they knew.
They knew, right? You can't be saying like Cloud and what a Cloud.
Yeah, well, because I've heard video game for voice actors is actually usually better than anime because they give you way more information and they give it to you ahead of time. Anime voice acting is notorious for like not telling you anything until you're in the studio. So it's a little bit. They knew. I don't know. Maybe I'm just used to the. Maybe I'm just used.
I don't know.
To that
maybe
at
it's
this point.
like. Maybe it's the way, I don't know who was the director of it, but maybe it's this Japanese style of directing or something. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, because I'm thinking back. I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of used to that style, and you see that more. I feel like in Final Fantasy or Japanese games, and I'm wondering if that's just a thing.
I'm not blaming the voice actors solely, and I don't think it's their fault at all. I think it's the direction, and some of it is the writing as well.
Yeah, it might be the direction, and I'm wondering if it might be just the cueing of the lines or something. Yeah,
like some of the lines just like, and the mannerisms of the character is very weird. How do I put this? Like the way it moves like an anime.
It does. No. The characters move. All the female characters move like anime girls.
Yeah, like,
that's for sure true. Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
Stop moving. Like, just talk.
Tifa and Aerith both move like stereotypical different types of anime
and
girls.
It doesn't work.
Cloud definitely. Yeah, it's definitely. Yeah, I definitely noticed that.
I'm not
too.
sure why it doesn't work though. Is it the graphics? Because it's like too.
It's probably it's the graphics, and they're too. Even though they're not technically proportionate, they're more proportionate than anime.
That is true. They look more realistic in a kind of.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't work at all. Like whoever directed the whole thing is.
To me, I just took it as like, yeah, that's I don't know. To me, I wasn't, I guess, surprised. I just kind of laughed about it because I knew what they were doing. But no, you're right. It does look weird. It's not. It's
who
strange.
the fuck talks with their hands on their hips and then bends down at like a 90-degree angle? Who the fuck talks like that? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, nobody does. Yeah, no, it is kind of.
Also,
I just
annoying.
found it funny.
Cloud with his monotone, like I have a dark past. I want to punch you in the face. Yeah. I just want to take the sword.
I liked his dry sense of humor when it came up, like when he would just answer
maybe I'm still
things
early in, but there's no chemistry between the characters at all.
Yeah, I don't know where chapter 8 is because I think that's all.
Second Mako reactor.
Okay, I mean you're in it because I feel like there's like maybe 20 chapters, but I can't. It's been so long. I couldn't tell you. Maybe not. I don't know.
It's just I feel like there's no chemistry between the characters. The voice acting is just so fucking weird. The mannerisms so fucking weird, and there's just something wrong about it. And I don't know. I can't. Like there's so many things. The game is beautiful though. Like it's beautiful to look at.
It is very pretty. Are Tifa and Aerith, have they met up yet?
No, not yet.
Have they met?
Not yet.
So one of the jokes online, and I definitely agree with this, it really, to me personally, it felt like Aerith and Tifa had more chemistry with each other as a lesbian couple than they did with Cloud. I don't know if you'll feel this way, though, because I might have
Cloud
been
has
able
the personality
to
of a cinder block.
I don't know. I'd be curious to see that's how you pictured it. Because that's one of the things I liked about it was they didn't make them like jealous of each other. They made them as like BFFs. But I think as a result, I felt for sure that like, oh, they have way more chemistry with each other. So, but I don't know.
Side note, I haven't actually finished Final Fantasy VII ever. I played quite a bit of the first one, like 30 hours in, and I just stopped for some reason. I can't remember why.
It's a long game. I never got. I mean, by the time I could have gotten into it, it was way too overblown and no real easy way to play it until they started doing remakes. So it was like, whatever.
I would say the emulator versions are better because you get to fast forward and stuff. I'm not sure if the re-releases that you can get on like PlayStation and stuff have. I think they do have like fast forward mechanics and stuff.
I still need to finish because I have 9 on my Switch, but I took a break from it because Fire Emblem had come out, and I haven't gotten back to it.
With all my complaints about Final Fantasy VII Remake, if they ever remade Final Fantasy VIII, I'm buying that collector's edition shit first day. I'm pre-ordering that.
So is my fiance. Are you kidding me? Because she liked 7, favorite. And she never liked original 7, but she liked newer 7. So she was like, oh, if they did. So you're not the only one there.
So Yeah. I'll take bad mannerisms and weird voice acting any day. Just give me Final Fantasy VIII with spanking new graphics. Like, just give me that. I am okay with that.
Maybe someday.
Yeah. That's all I did. Actually, I did quite a lot, I guess. But yeah.
You did more than I did.
It's been a fun-ish month or two. So, we want to talk about how Epic Games is trying to save the people.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I may have misunderstood this news, so tell me more about it.
So what happened was Epic Games of Epic Games Store fame, Unreal Engine fame, and Fortnite fame.
Yep.
Put in their Android and iOS versions of Fortnite. They patched it and they added a way for people to pay money for microtransactions without going through the respective storefront, like Apple or Google. And they even gave a discount for that. So microtransactions going through Apple is $10, but if you go through directly to Epic Games Store, you just pay $8. So yeah, and that is going against the terms of service of Apple and Google. So Apple and Google both removed Fortnite off the markets. And Epic knew this was going to happen. Because I think less than 24 hours, they released a video spoofing the 1984 Mac Apple II, I think. I can't remember exactly. The popular one with the runner coming in and throwing a slash hammer at the screen. The 1984 commercial, spoofing that and saying, let's make sure 1984, the actual 1984 from, what's his name? Orwell?
George Orwell,
doesn't actually happen. So yeah, 3 billionaire companies are going at it to save the people.
Oh gosh. Let them maybe take everyone down a peg, maybe?
And Tim Sweeney literally believes this. He tweeted things like, at the most basic level, we're fighting for the freedom of people who bought smartphones to install apps from sources of their choosing.
Okay.
They literally
if this is the hill he wants to...
Yeah, sure.
If this is the hill he wants to die on, cool. You go.
I'm not... Epic.
That's so funny.
The fact that they compared it to 1984.
What's his end game? Like, is he
more
gonna
money?
Sue? Like...
All of the lawsuit is already happening. Like, it's already been filed.
Oh, there is a lawsuit.
Both sides have filed lawsuits. Epic, I think, filed lawsuits against Apple. I know Apple and Epic have both filed their respective lawsuits. I'm not sure about the Google side, though.
Okay, gotcha.
But, yeah. Yeah.
Are CEOs okay? Are they bored? I think they're bored.
I mean, if you have so much money and buying the same shit over and over again and exploiting the same people over and over again, I guess you do get bored. I would get bored.
I guess, yeah. That does sound like a boring
If I'm an American billionaire and I'm only able to exploit, Americans, that's not fun. I want to exploit the whole world.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. All right. Well, they can have their fun little court game.
What the hell? And the fact that they try to recruit gamers to, oh my god, it is so on point. Like, the whole gamer culture is. This is like the peak. Like, the corporations coming to recruit their gamers to fight back. The corporate overlord is recruiting gamers to fight another corporate overlord. Like, that's just
oh my god.
Don't understand why people. Most people are not okay with this.
Yeah, well, I'm sure most people are like, I just want my game.
Yeah, most people are just like, I just want my game.
Why am I being blamed for this?
The more socially aware people are like, what the fuck, Epic? And and a smaller minority will be like, yeah, I want to be defined by this, I guess.
I wonder what implications that will have, though.
It will be interesting. Like, the actual result of the lawsuit would be interesting. It's just the way they went about it.
Oh, yeah. Well, it just sounds like they're bored, I guess. Yeah. I don't know.
And it's obviously they knew this was going to happen because the video was up, very quickly.
Yeah. They had this... What
they already planned this. So.
All right.
And I'm not sure if you guys saw the video, but the one on the screen talking is like a dude with a apple for a head that's got one part of it bitten off and a worm coming out of it. Like, it's just very subtle, Epic.
Wow.
They just went all in.
All right.
It's weird because their target audience is people who don't even know that commercial, probably.
Probably not. Exactly. Yeah,
I thought it was like 13-year-olds mostly pay Fortnite, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
The biggest demographic.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like 10. I mean, it's like
tweens.
10 to 18.
Tweens and teens.
Tweens and teens, for sure.
Tweens and teens. The most profitable market. Tweens and teens. Tween teen.
I mean, until their parents don't have money anymore, yeah.
Good God.
Yeah, I mean, Fortnite's got an incredible model because it's free to play. It's not really play to win at all. But all you really pay for are skins and dances.
Yeah, dances that they steal from other people, by the way.
Oh, yeah, that for sure. Oh, yeah, for sure. But that's the thing is, like, it is so ridiculously popular and so profitable.
I think it's because of the graphic style, one thing. The art style is more like...
That show's more appealing, it's for your kids. It's not like super bloody. That's one thing that I think is interesting, and I don't have any data to back this up, but I feel like, personally, there's just more adult, mature-rated games now than there were when I was a kid. And sometimes I feel like game developers almost slap on an M rating on a game to the point that, like, there's really not much of a good... I know they keep redoing Mario, which is why Nintendo still is popular and stuff like that. But, like, when I grew up, I played Crash Bandicoot, I played Spyro, and there's just not really an equivalent like that for a younger generation right now. No. If they want to play any games with, like, but there also were games I played that have really good storylines. Like, I played the Nancy Drew games and stuff. But, like, for kids these days, if they want to play games with any kind of deep storyline, they have to, like, get into the M genre. Which I think is a little messed up. I just feel like there's just no real good, like, this is for everybody kind of games these days for kids our age. Yeah. And so that's kind of why, like, when people make fun of kids playing Fortnite, I kind of want to roll my eyes a little bit. Because I'm like, listen, games are more... the games are more expensive and, it appeals to them. I do feel like the single-player gaming market is not doing a good job with the younger audience at all.
The gaming industry grew up with its audience.
It did. But I think it's a shame because I think it could have expanded, to more than just that.
It seems like the people who made the games 20 years ago, the ones that we played, and are still making the games today, like, kind of, like, followed through, like, you know what I mean? They're still making games, like, for me. Like, I was 13 years old, and they were making, like, Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, like you said, and then now I'm 30, and... they're still making games for me, like
exactly.
But I would love more double A games, more A games, not just triple A, not just indies. Yeah. And colorful graphics and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And Sony and Xbox bros wonder, like, why Nintendo is still around. It's like, because it's pretty much the only console that really still appeals to families and younger generation. And even then, they don't like we make fun of kids that, like, don't like the old Pokemon or old Mario, but they don't have anything new. We were the ones that started with Pokemon. They don't have anything really like that. And yikes, we millennials really like to shit on them whenever there is anything new. But that's a whole other story, and it drives me up a wall. We are too obsessed with our own nostalgia sometimes.
But yeah.
That's a different story. But yeah. Anyway, off my high horse on that one.
So yeah, let's see what happens with this Epic thing. But holy hell. Team Sweeney, you're not a freedom fighter.
If you are... you could put your money where your mouth is, maybe, but... Game developers, I swear.
Another big, like, kids one is, like, Roblox.
Yes, that one's huge. I don't even really know if I know what Roblox is.
Yeah. I don't actually know. It seems like it's a... It seems like a game within a game creator
games
in
within
the game.
Games. Yeah, because most of my kids, because I work with kids, as you guys know, and when they talk about Roblox, I'm like, can you tell me a bit more about that? And yeah, because they'll tell me they're in the, like, what do you call it? in the Five Nights at Freddy's section, or there's a lot of creepypasta kind of what's that SCP containment breach kind of stuff. There's like a section for that. There's a what's it called? It's a Hello Neighbor section. But I don't really quite understand how it works. But it's
basically a game creator in a game, and there are legit companies who make money by creating games within Roblox. It's insane.
Yes, exactly. It's crazy.
And that's another like kids thing that's huge.
It's huge.
It's crazy
and there
huge.
Is a whole social network and stuff like that. It's huge.
My friend just turned in his 2 weeks and he's going to Roblox. So I'll see what he says in like a month or so.
Yeah, be very interesting.
So
it's growing.
and it's another one. Cartoony graphics and available everywhere. It's also on mobile.
Yeah. Yep.
If you want to make a huge hit, just cartoony graphics on mobile, and like
seriously.
everywhere. Like, it's just insane.
You know, because like kids, if they have their own cell phones, they may not be able to get their parents' credit cards, but they can download a free game, and then they start playing, and they're like, "Ooh, I want the shiny thing. Hey, mom." You know, a lot of my kids, they're like, parents like, "What do you want for Christmas?" And they're like, V-Bucks. As for
V-Bucks, Jesus.
Fortnite. Yeah.
Imagine asking for premium currency for Christmas. That's insane.
Yeah. Oh, I know. My favorite is when the parents complain, and I'm like, "You guys have the power to turn it off."
You have the
but that's
power.
a different discussion. But anyway, yeah, it's interesting.
Yep. Roblox and Fortnite is the Crash Bandicoot of this era, I guess.
I mean, I don't blame the kids. What else is there?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Crash Bandicoot 4 is coming out, so...
That's true.
Yeah.
but it's not theirs, you know, and I think that's the problem. Like,
it's not a new IP.
Tainted with... Yeah, it's not a new IP. It's tainted with our nostalgia, and so they're kind of like, "Oh, that's cool, but I don't have as much of a connection." Fortnite is completely theirs. We never touched it, you know, so... It's interesting.
What else is big? Fall Guys is big.
Yes, I
huge.
just heard about it. My group at the other podcast wants me to buy it, so I guess I better do that. I don't even know what it is.
It's an indie game, like
It's like a racing royale game.
Okay.
Where you have like a bunch of people spawning onto one race course, and then you just kind of like ragdoll physics through the race course, and
obstacle
one
course.
person wins.
People compared it to Takeshi's Castle, I guess.
Sure. MXC. I mean, it is Takeshi's Castle,
made
but I call
by a pretty popular, like, I mean, it's not a big indie studio, but like they've made things that people have played, and they've also made like but there's never been anything this big. Like, this is crazy huge.
Yeah,
and
it has been.
Like,
huge.
their Twitter account is like 1 million subscribers, like 1 million followers now. And that's insane levels for an indie game.
Right, yeah. That's pretty cool,
So
though.
basically, people got it for free on PSN if they had PSN Plus. But on Steam and everywhere else, you got to pay for it. I can't remember what's the price. I think like $20, $25 maybe. Purely online, purely a party game. And it looks fun. It's just, I think what happened was the marketing was just really good for it.
I could see that.
It's definitely the next YouTube game. Or it is. It is currently the YouTube game.
Yeah, for
Whoever's
sure. It's
running the
friends
marketing
with your YouTube.
for Fall Guys is doing an incredible job.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah, I may end up getting it just because I have a group that has it. We're probably going to be playing it together at some point. I will probably suck, and that's okay.
Yeah, so that's the big thing. I already mentioned about the creative director from Assassin's Creed Valhalla being fired.
Yes.
He is Ashraf Ismail. He's also worked on Black Flag, one of my favorites. I think also Origins. I don't think Odyssey, but Origins and Black Flag.
Okay. Gotcha.
So he's made some good shit. He's been like part of like some really good game, but
but he's a
piece of shit,
human being, so
it's a shithole.
That's
So
it goes.
Next one is the Nintendo Switch has been officially announced for Brazil, so that's good for the people of Brazil, because Brazilians are paying crazy amounts of money for consoles because they're not allowed to get any there, and I've read so many people saying it's literally cheaper to fly to the US, buy a console, and fly back. That's insane.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's so good for them. Like,
good. I'm glad that you guys finally got that. At least you got a good system.
I think Mexico also has that problem. I'm not super sure with consoles just in general, and I don't mean just Nintendo, like Sony and stuff too.
Yeah, for sure. Interesting.
So that's one thing. Another thing is, do you know about the Vampires Masquerade Bloodlines, right? The RPG.
Mm-hmm.
I know the game. Yeah.
Yeah. Bloodlines 2 is supposed to it's been delayed to next year.
Oh, yes, I think I did hear.
So the developer and publisher just fired the narrative lead.
Whoa.
Yeah. And
do we know why?
He's a vampire.
They have explicitly said it is not due to any kind of sexual thing, any sexual allegation.
Oh, that's good. I like
They actually came on and said,
actually,
he didn't abuse anybody or like.
He's just a regular jerk.
What?
So Brian Mitsoda, he's worked on like a lot of RPGs.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, he's worked on quite a few RPGs. He designed and wrote the story for Bloodlines, the first one, the 2005 really buggy one. Expansions on Neverwinter Nights.
Why'd they fire him, I wonder?
He doesn't know. Like, it came out of nowhere for him too.
Oh no.
He doesn't know too.
That's fucked up. And I have very little faith that the game is going to be good now because you're firing the narrative lead so... I know it's like still a year away, but a year away in software development is not a lot.
Yeah.
Especially when
in writing too.
He said that he's been working on the game for 5 years now.
Yeah, something.
So,
they're
like,
trying to do an overhaul on something.
I hope it's not an overhaul.
It.
I hope they just trying to finish, but it's insane. Basically, the developer and the publisher, like the top people, just talked about it, and then just one day, like, hey, Mr. we'll fire you, and like, no reason given and shit. Hopefully, more news will come out of this, because this is a very bad look for your game.
Very.
Like, who's gonna have the faith now? Like, you got rid of the narrative lead a year before release. That's insane. That is not...
That's a bad look. Alright, well, stay tuned.
Hopefully more news will come out, like reasons. At least give us a fucking reason.
Yeah, just at least, like...
And I'm glad I didn't pre-order it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last thing from me is... so you know, like, all these companies are doing, like, buy the PlayStation 4 version and you get an upgrade for PlayStation 5. Buy the Xbox One version and you get an upgrade for the new Xbox version, whatever.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so some are doing that. Not all, but some are doing that.
You're right.
If you buy, like, digital... You can buy, like, the digital one and then you get an upgrade. And if you just buy the physical one, you can also get an upgrade. You don't get, like, a new disc or anything, but you get, like... You put the disc in and then they verify that you own the license, blah, 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 and then something like that. So Control, that game about the SCP stuff, all the supernatural stuff.
Yes.
They are also doing this free upgrade. So all these companies are doing it, they're doing it for free. So you buy this, and it's mostly for games that are not out yet. They're new games. So Cyberpunk 2077 is one of them, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Buy the PlayStation 4 version, and you get to play on the PlayStation 5 when it's brand new and stuff. Control is also doing that. They are saying, you can get a free upgrade too, but you have to buy the Ultimate Edition. So it's not exactly free.
Yeah, not exactly free,
So
guys.
people like me, for example, I've played Control already. I mean, I'm on PC, but if I played it on PlayStation 4 and I have only the base game and I bought all the DLC separately, I wouldn't be able to... I'm not viable for the upgrade.
They didn't think that... Okay. All right, guys.
And the Ultimate Edition is $40, and it's still $20 cheaper than the base game. It's just... It's almost as if they want people who's already bought it to buy it again.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, you gotta pay for the free upgrade. I guess that's how it works now. So yeah, that's it from me.
I don't really have anything other than what was... I almost made someone made a joke online that Cyberpunk was delayed again, but then it was a Rickroll joke, so never mind. I don't have any other news.
I forgot to mention I watched Summer Games Done Quick this past week, so that happened.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I've never watched it before. Actually, I watched Batman: Arkham City, Portal 1, Portal 2, and Tony Hawk Underground, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, Games Done Quick, Summer Games Done Quick, or whatever. That's like a household. Sometimes we don't like watch it live, but like after they're done, we'll kind of go through and see what games they've done and just put them on. Often we'll just see if there's a game we like. We'll just see if they have done a Games Done Quick version of it, because usually someone's done it. And it's pretty fun. Yeah, it's one. Yeah, some of them are really fun.
The ones that charity, right?
Yeah, it's a speed racing charity event. The most fun, though, is they always have kind of like a witching hour. It's like between like off hours, but they always have someone doing like super off-the-wall random games with like super glitchy stuff. Those are some of the best.
And they they raise millions, right? Usually like $2-3 million or something.
Yeah, they raise a lot of money.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if it's a couple million, but I think they reach $1 million.
It's definitely several hundred thousand for sure.
Yeah, definitely several hundred.
It's a video game charity, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. They do
and
quite
I think
well.
the charity they give it to, at least this year, is Doctors Without Borders.
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
Yep. They've done Doctors Without Borders, I think, for a while.
Yeah.
I think they usually do a cancer one. That's usually the one they do. But I think they started doing Doctors Without Borders this
mental
last,
health
2 years.
because like in between games, sometimes they'd interview doctors and they were talking about mental health as kind of the running theme that I was seeing.
That's cool. Yeah, I think they did it last time too. Before, like some of the older ones, it's a cancer organization they would do it for. So yeah, they always do it for really legit organizations. They're really good about it. But yeah, they're fun. We watch episodes of those every once in a while.
I'm wondering if they chose Doctors Without Borders because there's quite a lot of shit happening around the world right now, especially with that Lebanon crazy warehouse exploding and shit.
It could be. Like I said, I feel like last year they also did Doctors Without Borders, and it might have also been a timely decision,
it just once
but I don't
a year,
remember. No, they do it twice a year. There's the summer version, which I don't know if it's different in any way, but then there's the official like Games Done Quick, which I think is in the winter.
Previously, is a summer version, like the one that's just...
Yes.
Okay.
I don't remember the difference. I feel like the summer one is smaller, but don't quote me on that.
Did you see the video of that explosion? I saw it from somebody like taking from a balcony, and it looked like fake. It doesn't look real. Like
it doesn't look real.
It doesn't. It looks like a fucking movie or something.
Yeah,
it's so insane.
That one. Did you see the one with the bride, with the bridal pictures?
No. Do I want to see it?
There was one.
Fine,
no one's hurt.
Okay.
It's just like, whoa. Basically, it's a photographer taking a picture of a bride for, I think it's like pre-wedding stuff, and then you just kind of, no one's hurt, thankfully. They're actually both okay. But you see the wind, like, the knockback all of a sudden, and everyone being like, what's going on? And it's like, whoa, yeah, it's creepy. I saw the one at the window, too, and it
the one with the
sick.
Is that short moment of peace, and then that one's... I just cannot fathom it. Like
I can't fathom it. I know.
I'm watching a literal like video of it, and I still can't.
Yeah, it's just someone's cell phone video, like looking out the window of their place, being like, "What's that?" And then there's the pushback. And you're like, "Oh my!" It's just, it's scary.
So like people have created like charts and like basically took the explosive radius and put it on different cities just to show the impact.
Yeah.
Yeah, like KL is like where I'm at in my city, Kuala Lumpur. The entire city is gone. The entire city.
Yeah. Yeah. The one that was crazy for us Americans was Chicago. Someone did one for Chicago, and it was just like, it was intense.
So yeah, and if you didn't already know, it's a lot of it is like inaction and laziness and corruption from the government. People have been talking about experts have been telling the government to remove the substance from the warehouse for like more than 5 years now. Yeah. So they've been protesting like hard and long.
Yeah.
And I think they're still protesting. They're bringing out like the guillotine equivalent with the hanging for the politicians. Like they are not backing down. So
I mean, why? I mean, at that point, like, can you really blame them?
Yeah.
No.
So yeah, we always end the fucking podcast like this.
I know, we're bad at ending them on happy notes.
Okay, something happy. Let's find something happy.
Something happy. Goodness.
You might like. There's a game just came out on Steam. Indie game. I think it's like an action Metroidvania kind of game.
Okay.
It's really it's a very indie game, but it's also like one of the top sellers right now, even above like AAA games. You guys might like it. It's for like people love like the soundtrack from it. God, I'll find it and I'll send it to you.
Sounds
Dreamscaper, I think is the name of the game.
Dreamscaper. That sounds familiar to me.
Yeah,
I might be thinking
Dreamscaper.
of a different one.
It like just came out. It's in early access. But yeah, it's like a top-selling game right now.
Oh, it's got like action elements.
Yeah.
Isometric.
Rhythm too.
So for some reason I was picturing side scroll, even though you said third person.
But it's a roguelike.
Side scrolling technically is third person.
Roguelike.
Yeah. Oh, it's a roguelike. Interesting.
So
our starter packs?
What?
The subreddit is like it's called our starter packs, and it's like they take like the tropes of things. Like this is a starter pack for suburban dads, since like cargo pants, whatever. There was one for like indie games, and I loved it because it just had like a picture of like a fox. It was like a fox because we needed a mascot for the thing. It's like for our boring game where you walk through the woods. It's like there's a lot of like I kind of like them, but there's a lot of indie games where it's just like we took Norse mythology or Native American mythology or some mythology, and you just walk through the woods and experience it. And also there's a fox.
Yeah.
That
I just feel like
right.
I've seen it like 3
accurate.
or 5 times.
Yeah. Freaking walking simulators. Either that or it's I tried to make a horror game and they're really bad graphics, but you don't have to notice because they're dark.
There are a lot of horror games made in RPG Maker.
There is that. I actually mean the Unreal Engine or Unreal Engine, whatever's the one
Sure.
Unity.
whatever's the
Unity. Pretty
That's
easy.
what I meant. Sorry. Unity. There's a lot of really trashy indie. Like they've never made any game except for this game on Unity.
To be fair, I think it's because Unity is just easier to learn. Like that.
Unity is easier. There's nothing wrong with it,
but it's gotten a bad rap. And it makes no sense to me that gamers blame Unity. Like, it's just a fucking engine. It's not...
It's just the engine. It's just people making crap with it. Yeah, though the engine's amazing. It makes me want to actually do it. I'm kind of curious how much I can actually do with it if these people can make this, But there's always, every Halloween, there's just a new trash bag of indie horror games with Unity. They're so bad.
I think it's because, like, there were a couple that, I don't know if they were good or not, but they were really... Like Markiplier, like early Markiplier got like big play in some of these games, and so I think people are trying to like emulate that.
And he continues to do so. That's actually a thing he does. Is he does like 3 scary games or whatever. That's just a thing he's doing now. So he goes mostly on Itch.io these days. But yeah, he just plays like they're not all trash. There are some hidden gems, and he's actually pretty nice to them when he really shouldn't be. But like that's what he does.
He seems like a nice
he's been
guy,
going
like,
back and doing that.
Actually, a nice guy.
Yeah, exactly.
He could be.
There's some of his I don't like all of his new videos, but those ones are pretty good.
He could be secretly a piece of shit, though.
He could be.
I don't know.
No one's gonna. I mean, well, actually, he's
a YouTuber.
He is a YouTuber. He actually was kind of a piece of shit. I don't know if there was these 2 guys that were friends of his that worked for him, and there was a huge fallout because they kind of secretly left him to work for Game Grumps, but it was kind of because he was a bit of an asshole. He did basically come out and say, I was wrong. Like, he did apologize publicly about it and wish them well, and now I think they're on okay terms. But he actually was like, I need to, whoever I hire next to be my editor, I'm going to be, better about it, blah, blah, blah.
I don't know who is... I've also heard that Aaron Hansen's not easy to work for.
I've heard that, too.
It's almost as if...
It's almost as if being a YouTuber as a full-time job probably makes you crazy.
Not just that. A lot of them start really young.
I believe that.
And got big really young. And they don't
I mean, you get rewarded for
being an asshole,
acting more and more childlike.
Yeah,
like the biggest views, the most charitable things are them like just throwing temper tantrums.
Yep, for sure.
Because, like, I saw Markiplier made, like, not the front page, but I saw him on Reddit, like, last week because he was playing, I don't even know what game it was, but, like, some Windows 10 update popped up in the middle of it, and he just, like, went nuts, and it was funny, but I'm like, oh, man, like, I couldn't make that content. I'd have, like, an ulcer and die.
Yeah, I know. And I think he doesn't, like, it's kind of easy to see now that he really plays it up, which is, there's nothing wrong with that.
He leans into it, for sure.
He leans into it, which is fine. You know, I'd rather it be fake than actually him having a heart attack. Like, I really do.
If let's say one of us do it to be satirical or to parody it, how much of it is parody when you keep doing it and like and it becomes your identity and people follow you because you do it? Like, how much is that
well for Mark, that is what it is.
Satirical.
No, he was never trying to be satirical. He just leans into it hard.
Yeah.
Mark has just been pretty good, like, because he's taken acting lessons and stuff like that. So he's just gotten pretty good at just doing that. So no, he's definitely not trying to be satirical. But it's just, you can just tell as a longtime watcher, like, he's not being totally upset about this. He's definitely hamming it up. Which I'm fine with, because honestly, some of his older videos where he is legit upset are actually hard for me to watch. Just empathetically wise. It's really difficult for me to watch. It's very cringy. And so the fact that he's just like screaming because it's okay or whatever is honestly a little calmer for me to watch, funny enough. So I almost prefer that it's faked.
Definitely still not my kind of entertainment.
I get you. No, and we don't even really watch him as much anymore. Mainly because my favorite videos of him are like the stupid games, or like the or like when they're long plays. So like if he's gonna finish like a longer game with like some kind of like narrative and stuff like that. Yeah, I love watching him for those. Like his Man of Menan playthrough. I think he did that game, or maybe he only did part of it. Is, if it's what I'm thinking, it is really good. But he just doesn't do those kinds of games anymore, so it's hard. Anyway, the games with his friends are actually pretty fun too. When he plays like with Bob and Wade, they're pretty good. But anyway, that's a happy thing. Yeah. Are we good? We good?
I think we're good. Let me just go through a couple of new releases just to like ham the happiness a little bit. Samurai Jack new action game just came out. Positive reviews. Destroy All Humans remake also just came out. Overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam. There's a game called Spiritfarer, also overwhelmingly positive. It's a
Steam's trying to sell that to me.
I've wishlisted it, so just it looks like a 2D side-scrolling adventure game with a community management town building aspect to it. It looks really pretty too. I honestly almost wishlisted it, but so reading the like the one paragraph synopsis, as a ferry master to the deceased, build a boat to explore the world, care for your spirit friends, and guide them across the mystical seas to finally release them into the afterlife. What will you leave behind? And it's like, this is a game about dealing with loss. And it's like, I don't want to deal with loss. That's not why I play video games. So, I mean, good. It's good. The problem I kind of have with the description is what you said, and then farm, mine, fish, harvest, cook, and craft. Like, okay, I'm not sure how I'm supposed to deal with loss by farming, but okay, I guess.
Apparently it has co-op. At least there's a co-op tag. Who knows if that's actually accurate.
Yeah, co-op. You can be next to your friend while playing the game and say hi.
Last one we can wrap this up. Rogue Legacy 2 has just been released into early access. The first one was a really good game.
Alright.
So go check it out if you like side-scrolling action.
Looks cool.
Side-scrolling action roguelikes.
Neocab.
Is it?
Oh, I finished Neocab one run.
Is it good?
It is a purely narrative, choose your dialogue.
It's like a Telltale-esque game?
Ish, yeah. But you drive a cab. And you have like 6-7 days each run. And depending on your decisions and stuff. And you can't just choose any decisions. You have to manage your mood. And if you are not feeling emotionally like a certain way, you can't say certain things.
Oh,
that's funny.
Switch, right? For the Switch?
Steam
it's on
too.
Steam too.
But I play it on Switch.
Okay. I did the demo. I'm thinking of buying it full because it seemed really interesting.
Yeah, it is.
It also seemed kind of like, oh god, what do I do? But it seemed really interesting. I just did the demo.
I think you'll like it for sure.
Yeah, it definitely seemed pretty cool.
Okay, now we can wrap up.
Cool.
Now we can do the thing?
Yep.
All right, do the thing. All right, this is Sarahscopic, SARAHSCP.
Did you say
Not spell that right.
SCP.
SCP? Containment breach, yo. No. SCOPIC. Why do I make all my names so hard to spell? Anyway, I mostly am on Twitter these days. If you really want to see me, check out RNG and TEA. That's another podcast I do. And actually, depending when this comes out, you can go on our Twitch channel and see me that next Friday. So yeah, come say hi.
And I'm Foehamner. I'm on YouTube. Theoretically, if I ever get back to recording Outer
Theoretically.
Wilds.
I like that. Theoretically, I'm on YouTube.
This is supposed to be me getting back into it, and then I took like a month break just because I couldn't.
Yeah.
I didn't want to play that game again. I need to screen my games better or something. I don't know. Pick even smaller games. Something to work on YouTube. I've been working on recorded stuff, so maybe some sketches will be in the not too distant future. I don't know. Production on this stuff takes a long time.
It does, yeah. That's cool, though.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
I like how you... So, Fo is on my left, and Fo was looking right at me. At least on Discord, not on the thing I'm recording.
Can I hand you a thing?
That would be cool.
That's funny.
Yeah. Yes, I'm Pupunoob, Pew Pew, and Obi. You know where. This has been episode 175 of the playonultra podcast. Thank you very much for watching this thing. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.